Hey, what's up, Joe Joe in the Morning family? I hope you are having a super, super good day. I want to share something with you today that is going to challenge you, but it is going to be very encouraging and it is going to help spark you to move you forward and want to advance, okay? So, over the past 3 or 4 days in early morning prayer, the Lord has really been challenging me to get myself ready to do a lot of intense fasting and prayer. And as I was really praying about all of it, the Lord just really showed me in my spirit that 2024 is going to be a remarkable year. Like it's going to be a phenomenal year on a whole lot of different fronts. You're going to see a lot of amazing things happen, yes, but also I really believe that 2024 is going to be a good year, but it is also going to be a year that is going to set people up for years to come. And so it's going to be a very profound year, and it's going to be a year that we need to be positioned. Well, the greatest way to position yourself is through fasting and prayer. And so what the Lord has been speaking to me about is some things that I need to do personally in setting up different times of prayer for myself and even for a church, and just a bunch of different things that the Lord has really been showing me to do. So I'm really excited about that. A lot of times people will ask me like, hey, how can I hear God better? How can I position myself better? You know, what can I do? And I'm always saying, man, it's fasting and prayer, man. When you just dive in with fasting and prayer, it just seems to shift everything. There's a lot of people that say, I just kind of feel like I live the same week, month, year over and over, and nothing really changes. And I'm like, man, that's when you got to really jump in and fasting and praying and really move in there with God to see some things. A lot of people say sometimes, and I'm like this, hey, I know there's more to life than what I'm living. I know there's more to life. Like, what can I do? And man, it's just that jumping in with the Lord. Like before I started our health program over 4 years ago with Optavia, man, I knew that I had to get my health as I was getting a little bit older, that I had to get my health in check. And then I became a coach, and financially it blessed us. And, we've had over 7,000 clients, hundreds of coaches. I knew something had to shift. Well, whenever I want to move forward spiritually, I fast and pray and spend that extra time with God. And in the midst of prayer, He shifts stuff. I mean, I always take notebooks and my calendar and my pens, and I've got journals everywhere because I go to God and I'm expecting to receive something. I'm expecting to hear from the Lord. And that's how things starts to shift. And I just felt the other day just like a strong presence of the Lord to really lean in and fast and pray a lot through the rest of 2023. Now, one thing that I always do is I don't believe in that, let's start on January the 1st. I like to start the day after Christmas and hit the new year running, okay? And so really position yourself to hear what God is saying and to hear what the Lord is wanting to do. I remember probably about a month ago, I was in prayer and I heard the word implement. This is real simple. Just in prayer, I heard the word implement. So I just kind of kept praying, and I remember that day when I heard the word implement, the Lord kept saying to me, tell people that they have to implement what I show them. And a lot of people, back at 2 and 2 says, when you get a vision, write it down. I mean, sometimes it's as simple as sticky note. I mean, I'll put something on a sticky note right there. Got it. Everywhere I see it, And so you got to be ready to implement what He shows you. And I really feel like as the world is changing, like you got to understand the world is changing so fast. It's changing in the church world. It's changing. Sorry about the yawning. I was up half the night praying. the church world's changing, but technology is always changing. Innovation's always changing, and so you have to be ready on innovation to whatever is happening. I've seen so many people who are in certain type of jobs, and then all of a sudden that job is no longer needed. You got to be on the cutting edge to know what God is doing. You got to be on the cutting edge of investments in different things. The world is always shifting and changing. People that fast and pray will always be told by God what's going on. The word says, I won't do anything without telling the prophets first. I remember one day I was praying and I felt the Lord show me something about some investments. And so I made the investments. And about a month later, I hear some professionals come out and said, this is an investment that is going to work. And oh my goodness. And boom, boom, boom. And I was like, oh my goodness. God told me that a month ago. I'm already invested in it. There's times God will guide you and lead you in ministry. I remember one time the Lord spoke to me that said, you need to start pulling out of doing ministry with this one person. I'm like, this is one of my friends. He's a great minister, powerful man of God. But I listened to God and I started pulling away from him. Well, about 6 months later, he had a and I'd pulled away. There's times that the Lord has spoke to me about get close to a minister who's, had some failures in life and messed up. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have good character. But I went over and they were so, just full of repentance of what they've done and was ready to shift. And they did. Listen, you got to have a fresh word from God. And we cannot move forward in 2024 with the natural mindset. The natural mindset is not going to work. I'm talking about investments. I'm talking about different places, like when Autumn and I, we've built 3 houses so far. And every time we felt we built in a neighborhood we were supposed to. I remember our first house we built, there were 2 neighborhoods on the opposite sides of the street, okay? Like there was a main road and then like a block in and then a block in. There were these 2 neighborhoods. And we looked at houses and house pads in both, and we built in this one right here. The one we built in did very well. We sold 7 years later, did great. The other one kind of went towards a government housing and it went down. And the people who bought houses 7 years later sold for less than they paid for it. Ours didn't. You had to hear what the Lord was saying. There's times in life when you have to hear the Lord. I remember one day we had some friends over at the house and they were getting ready to leave. And the Lord told me a certain car lot to go to, which side, it was a huge car lot, which side to go to, the type of car I was going to get. The Lord said there was 2 of them, a maroon one and a black one. And he said, I want you to buy the black one. I had no idea they even had those cars. I listened to the Lord. I went. That was probably the best car I've ever owned. You got to be listening to God because you can do some things that seem right. You can do some things that go with the flow. I had a friend one time. He said, man, this is crazy, but I got offered a job at a very, very well-known company, good pay, good benefits, just great company. And then I got a job offer for kind of this little startup company that nobody knows anything about. Their benefits aren't as good. Their pay's not as good. But man, I feel like I'm supposed to go there. I said, man, follow the Lord. Well, 6 months into his job, the little startup company exploded. This one company had some problems, started laying people off, doing pay cuts like crazy. And this little startup took off. And he started making more than he would have over there after 6 months. You just got to follow the Lord. Fasting and prayer will shift everything. If you will listen to God and allow God to guide you and lead you, it will shift everything. Shift everything. We have to be people full of fasting and prayer. Fasting and prayer kills the flesh. The flesh is what gets us in trouble, friends. Okay? Hey, I hope this helped. Hope this blessed you. Set yourself apart. Finish 2023 strong and get ready for 2024. Love y'all.